Okay, so let's jump right into the main solo here in Manhattan. There is obviously, it's an Eric Johnson solo, so there's going to be a lot of notes. So let's get right into it. We're going to start at the 11th fret here and slide from 11 to 13 on the 4th string. Then play 16 on the 4th, 15 on the 3rd, 16 on the 2nd, and 14 on the 1st. Then 16 on the 1st, and then 18 on the 1st. Then, which is just 16, 14, 18. So, okay, then we continue with, and that is just 18 on the 4th string, 15 on the 3rd, 16 on the 2nd, and 14 on the 1st. Then 18, hop up to 18 on the 1st, then 16. Then 14, then come do a whole step bend and release at the 19th fret on the 2nd string. Then 16th fret on the 2nd string. And that's the end of the phrase. So some vibrato on that. Then we continue on. So we have this 16 on the 2nd string, then go 18, 15 on the 3rd. I hit the, when I came back, hit that 16 twice, back to 18, 15, then back to the 16. So we got this. And then do a roll from 18 on the 3rd to the 18 on the 4th. And then in that phrase right there with the 15th fret with vibrato on the 3rd string. And then we had this cool run. That is basically just 16, 18 on the 6th. Shift over to the 13th fret on the 3rd string. 13, 15, then 14, 16 on the 2nd, back down to 14, back down to the 15, 13, and then 16, 13 on the 4th string, 16, 13, slide it down to 11, and then 14, 11 on the 6th string. So that little lick, whole step bend at the 13th fret on the 3rd string, pull off to the 11, and then play 13 on the 4th, come and grab the 11th fret, 6th string with your thumb, and then come to the, back to the 13 on the 11th. I mean the 11th fret on the 3rd string. With some vibrato. Then we start this next phrase. It's a full arpeggio here, E flat minor arpeggio. You're going to start with a 13, an upstroke on that 13, then come down to on the 4th string there, and then slide from 9 to 11 on the 6th string, and then the pinky at the 14th fret on the 6th string. Then do a roll from 13 on the 5th to 13 on the 4th. And then do a roll across 11 on the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings. And then end it with a 14 on the 1st. Whole step bend and release out on the 1st string. Then 15. Then we have this run. And that's just kind of like a repeating pattern. 11, 13 on the 1st, then 13 on the 2nd string, then back to 11 on the 1st. And then 11 and 13 on the 2nd, then go 12 on the third string to 11 on the second, and then back to 13 on the third. Then we have this quick little, that is just pull off 12 to 11 on the first, come to the 14 on the second string, and then back to the 11 on the first, and then do a pull off from 14, 12, 11 on the second. I pick downstroke here, then another down on the second, upstroke on that 11, and then downstroke to finish off the pull-offs. And then, sorry. So we got 13 for that lick is 13 on the third, then 14 on the second, then 11, 11 on the second and third string. Then 12 on the fourth string, pinky at the 14th on the 5th, and then 13th fret on the 5th. Then shift back to the 10th fret, and that's just 10 on the second, 11 on the third, 12 on the fourth, and then 9 on the fourth. So that's the next phrase we're going to do here. Pinky at the 13th on the third. So we get 13, pick 13 and 11 on the fourth after that. Slide back to the 13 on the third string and end it with 10 on the third, 11 on the fourth, and then 13 on the fifth. Sorry. And that's the next lick we're going to be doing here. So we have 11 and 14 on the 6th, pick 11 on the 5th string, slide up to 13, and then roll to the 13 on the 4th string. So I'm doing, and then 15th fret on the 3rd string, then 16th fret on the 2nd string, then a whole step bend at the 14th fret on the 2nd string. All right? Then we got the fast runs, and this is pretty much really the only really difficult part of the solo. And we're going to start this. That's just going to be a pull off from 16 to 15 on the 1st string, then a hammer on from 16 to 18 on the 2nd string, pull off from 17 to 15 on the 3rd, and then pull off from 18 to 15 on the 4th. You can do that all with an upstrokes coming up. Up, 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 up. And then, or you can do that last one with a downstroke maybe, because that'll take you back towards the 3rd string. And then you can do all upstrokes going, pulling off from 15 to 13 the entire way down. 3rd string, 4th string, 5th string, 6th string. Put some vibrato on that last note. Then we have the really fast run. Now this is going to start with a slide to the 18th fret with your 2nd finger on the 3rd string, the downstroke, then a hammer on from 16 to 19 with a downstroke on the 2nd string. Then an upstroke at the 16th fret on the 1st string, then hammer on the 21. Okay? And after that, now we start the picking. We're going to go 18, 16. We're going to do that down, up, down, up. We're going to do it twice. And then you can come over and go 19, 16 on the 2nd string and do that one twice. Same picking. Shift down to the 3rd string at the 18th and 15th fret. Do down, up on that and just do that once. So from the picking is shift down to the 14th fret, so we got 16 and 14 here. We're going to go down up on 16 and 14, then 15 and 13, and then 6 on the 3rd string, and then 16 and 13 on the 4th. And then shift down to the 11th fret, and we have 14 and 11 down up on that string, 2nd string, and then 13, 11, and then you're going to repeat the same thing after you did that. Remember that lick we did before on the little pull-offs right down. We're going to do that same thing, but at the 11th fret, and you can do a 13 pulled off to 11 all the way across 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so the whole lick. All right, so just work that up slowly, get the patterns and the picking down, and then work that up to speed, put those two things together. That's the next lick. After that, we get down to that 11, we get whole step bend, come over on the 2nd string, 14th fret, then come down to the 14 on the 3rd string, 14, shift back to 13, 11, and then come to 13 on the 4th string. And then another whole step bend there on the 14th fret, 2nd string. So that's slide up to the 15th fret, and then on the 3rd string, and then hit 16 on the 2nd. Whole step bend at the 19th fret on the 2nd string, then release it slightly so it's a half step bend. And then 16th fret on the 2nd string. So that ending phrase there to this biggest part of the solo is, this is a cool little lick, arpeggio. 15th fret on the 3rd string, the 5th string, then roll to the 3rd string at the 15th fret as well. So from 5 to 3, and then 16th fret on the 2nd, 15th fret on the 1st, and then slide from 16 to 18, and then come back down to the 2nd string and play 16. Then we're going to have a half step bend at the 18th fret on the 2nd string, and then back to 16. Shift back here to the 14th fret with your 3rd finger, whole step bend and release.